What is going on, guys? Jack here and welcome to episode 43 of The Road to Glory with FC United of Manchester. Really glad to see that you guys enjoyed the previous episode. If you did miss it, I did about I think it was 100 minutes episode, like a really long episode for you guys, because this series has been kind of AWOL for a while, but I wanted to get back into it. I had some stuff, kind of life, illness and whatever, get in the way. I'm on the road to recovery now, got some more time to play FM finally. But anyway, last season we managed to survive in League One. Good stuff there. I'm going to be starting off this episode by taking a reflective look at the last 5 years, because last episode marked 5 years at the club. Then I'm going to talk about pre-season, of which there really isn't that much to talk about. And then I'm going to come on to tactics, and then we've got our first game of the season against Crystal Palace. So first things first, I want to take a look at the club overview and stuff, just show you guys kind of what's what. So first things first, I suppose, looking at the club league history and our past performances. So first season at our club, we were in the Northern Premier League, and we finished first. That is the 7th tier of English football. Following on from that, we won the playoffs of the Blue Square Regional North, and then the very next season, the Blue Square Bet Prem, and then, we won the playoff for both of those, actually. And then moving up into League 2, we actually finished third and gained automatic promotion, which was a bit of a shock at the time. And last season, we did struggle. I kind of anticipated a struggle, however, not quite to the extent that we did indeed endure. Pleased to say, however, that over the summer, I've not signed too many players yet. However, there are players who I'm still kind of looking at, but we'll move on to that shortly and swiftly. So that's that. Looking at the best 11 from our 5 years at the club. So last season, for some reason, Angus Gunn was given it last season, which I'm not sure about. But looking at last season's team, Peltari made an appearance, obviously one of the Finnish lads. Murray, I mean, a lot of these players you guys know. That is widely what I regard as probably one of my strongest starting 11s that you can see, with the exception of perhaps, I don't know, Angus Gunn is a bit of a shock. I'm not sure why Peltola didn't get the nod ahead of him, but one of those things. Looking at the overall best 11 since we've been at the club, there's a few legends here. We've got players like Angus Gunn, of course, who I mentioned, 144 appearances. Average rating's not the best. Glenn Stewart and Brian Olivian, right back and left back, over 250 appearances between them. I mean, look at that average rating by Glenn Stewart of 7.5. Mental stuff. I mean, he's mostly playing centre back, but I mean, look at his stats. He's such a good player. He's been at the club a while. This is going to be his 4th year at the club. Came in for 70k. Been a very, very shrewd signing, to say the least. Brian Olivian, former Barcelona lad, very skilled left back. And I know his name isn't Olivian, it's Olivan. However, I've got in the habit of saying Olivian, and it's not changing. I've decided my poor pronunciation has chosen him to be renamed. Anyway, at centre-back we've got George King and Alex Evans. George King came to the club in our first season, I do believe. In 2012 he did indeed, and I mean, he's made 127 appearances for the club. Last year he didn't really get too much football, and so this year I've loaned him out to Macclesfield. Really just kind of a real backup player to the first team these days, but back in the day he was a quality player for us, and I mean, 135 appearances, average rating 7.22, certainly done his job for the club. Got Alex Evans, who scored 22 goals in 228 games, the longest serving player in terms of time, but also in terms of games played. Got him in on a free in our very first season, and I mean, he's been a staple of the first team ever since. He's club vice captain behind Peltari now. However, he was captain for 4 years, and I mean, looking at his stats, absolutely insane player. Not necessarily the best statistically on paper in terms of his attributes, but he's never getting injured. He's there in the first team. He's kind of Mr. Reliable. You can call upon him, and he pops up with the occasional goal as well, which is nice to see. Anyway, then at centre mid we do have John Carson, the Irish Northern Ireland international now with his first cap. really well rounded off centre mid, plays as an anchor man, absolute beast. His contract runs out at the end of this year, and I am going to be looking to get that renewed as soon as I can. This guy is an essential part of our team, and he provides coverage to the back four that I don't think we could get from any other player. Got Billy Breed at right wing. The young lad came in for 5k from Burzkow, I don't know, Burzkow. We'll go with that. Burzkow in the Northern Premier League, First Division North. Came in for 5k, fantastic regen. One thing I've noticed is that because I've got the 9-tier database in for England, you occasionally, well, quite often, one of the really lower teams will have like an insane regen, and Billy Reid was one of those insane regens. Got him in for cheap, and he's been ridiculous for us since. Bastien Henry, the French centre mid, contract ran out at the end of the year, decided not to renew it. I mean, he's been a good player for us, but last year he kind of just fizzled out the team. Sad to see him go, but at the same time, I needed to save some money on the wage budget, and he was one of the players who did end up going. Ryan Doble, playing as the lone forward, came to us when we were in the Blue Square Bet Prem, carried us with his goals through Division or League 2 and the Blue Square Bet Prem. Still at the club today, not the first team player he once was, but nevertheless a quality lad. Jake Kirby, another former player who kind of just fizzled out. You've got to remember that I've gone through 5 different divisions in 5 years, I guess, and so players, quickly get replaced and stuff. And although there are some regens who have been here since the beginning, a lot of the squad is just replaced. Got Jerome Wright, Mr. FC United Manchester himself, fantastic player. Was at the club, got released at the end of last season. He was just taking up the wage budget, but one of the longest serving players at the club in terms of matches. I think Alex Evans is one of the few players who actually comes close to him in the existing team. It was sad to see him go, but he's 31 now on this, and time for change. I'm not going to go into all of these players in too much detail, but a few players to give a quick shout out to. James Spencer, fantastic goalkeeper for us in our first 3 seasons, one of the reasons we were able to plough through the leagues. Mike Norton, who is currently assistant manager for Bishop Stortford, was a fantastic player for us. Looking at his career stats, he ended up retiring from us 4 years ago, but his goals really carried us through the very early divisions, the early days. He got, I'm trying to do the maths really quick, 87 goals, I think, if I've added it up quickly off the top of my head. He got 87 goals in 4 seasons. I mean, you can't argue with that. Fantastic player for us. So that's kind of a quick reflection upon the 5 years and the players who have come and gone in that time. Actually, we'll just go on the club overview quickly because someone asked about that in a previous video. If I go to where will it be? Is it overview? Club background. That's not what I want. Well, bear with me, people. Bear with me. Where is the thing? Is it history? Landmarks or records. I want the thing that shows like players stuff. I suppose we can look at the modern day records. Highest attendance 8,000 against Bolton Wanderers at home in the League Cup. Highest gate receipts from the same game. Lowest attendance against Boston United in 2008. That was before this save even began. Highest scoring game was a 4-3, which is kind of low, only 7 goals, considering how long this save's been going on for, but still not too shabby. Games without winning, we set that in League 2 actually, but that was of course the season where we had the insane end. Games without conceding, we did 5 in our first year at the club, and most games without scoring came when we were, I don't even know what division that might have been, in the Blue Square Bet North. Looking at players, top goal scorer Shane Barney got it last year, although he did only score 13. I can't remember where the page is for the kind of player records and that stuff. If someone can tell me, I will show you that next episode, that way you can see club legends and that kind of stuff. I can't find it here because I fail and I can't spend the whole video looking for it, but anyway, that's that. So moving on to the present, I suppose, upon that reflective account of kind of what's what, there really hasn't been too much to tell you about in terms of transfers. A lot of players going out, really trying to clear a lot of this wage budget. A lot of these players' contracts, I just kind of let them run out because they're not good enough for league for League One in reality, and they're not really going to sell for anything. I mean, you've got players like Tom Bradshaw, who was a backup player when we were in the Blue Square Bet North, so he's of no use now to us. John O'Shea, perhaps the one that people might be slightly surprised about. I brought him in. He was on quite a lot of wage. I only put him on a 6-month deal when he came in the kind of January transfer window last season. Really didn't come into the first team. So that's that. Moving on to tactics, I'm mixing up the system a lot, and you may remember last episode, though, in the really long video, if you watched the points where I mentioned it, I think I mentioned it a few times, but I wanted to try playing 3 at the back. So we are going with, we've got this, which is going to be the primary tactic, which is a bit of a Juve 3-1-4-2. Then we've got this 3-4-1-2. And then I guess the alternative is this, which I don't think I'm going to be using. It's mostly going to be this kind of Juventus style play. I want to really capitalise on the fact that I don't necessarily have the best defenders in the league, as seen by the ability ratings. However, the actual midfield and attack are a top kind of force for any league, and I really want to take the game to the opposition. I also had some problems with finances. You may remember me mentioning that in the last episode. That has kind of had a impact in the sense that, as you saw, I have had to let quite a few players go out on frees and release them, and as a result I've not necessarily been able to bring in, I guess, the strength to replace them and like kind of add the depth that perhaps I'd like to have in this squad. But it's just one of those things. With this formation change, it obviously means that players like Olivian and Kowalski aren't as likely to start. However, they still are available for us to play. I've got Alexis playing ahead of Tarkowski just because he's a very good young player, this guy, and I want to give him as much first team football as I can, because I don't think people can really appreciate just how big an influence time on the football field affects how a player develops in FM, because it plays an absolutely massive role. But anyway, enough rambling. You've seen the tactics, you've seen the system. Oh, one other thing, we did have one player join us, and we do have a few players going out on loan, but again, just more players who I don't need. The only player to come in is Pauli Devoson. This guy's not crazy, however, he's a player who I consider to have potential, a player who a lot of people might look at and go, oh, there's not a lot about him. I mean, he is about to turn 19. He has some fairly solid stats about him, and I don't think he's ever going to be a first team player, but I bought him in for 30k, and I'd be amazed if he didn't sell for anything less than that. And he just offers a little bit of coverage in terms of kind of a fourth choice striker. I mean, if I show you the squad depth, you'll see Leconte and Dobel I very much consider left wingers now. You know, one plays over the other. Then we've got Barney, Georgiades and Afum. Afum, of course, last episode really had his time in the limelight, had his time to shine, and he came up big for us. So Davison really offers kind of I guess that little bit of backup that we need in the team, and he's young as well, so he ticks all the boxes. Just one more thing before we get into today's game, I just want to show you the age of this squad. The oldest player is 26, which really tells you a lot. I think the average age of this squad is probably about 20. And in terms of money, if I just show you the finances, £96,000 in profit, set to make a loss, but it's nice to see it in the white. Obviously, if you look at the graph, you can see that really the money coming in from TV revenue and all the stuff, like the kind of surge of income you get at the start of the season, has seen us get into the white, which is good to see. And we have a hefty transfer budget available still. We're under our wage budget, and that can all be redissed around if there's any players who come kind of into the limelight. But anyway, on that, I know I've talked for quite a long time in this episode. Let's get straight into today's episode. We're going to be playing Crystal Palace away. Because we're playing them away, I'm going to be playing the this version of the tactics. The main aim is to play a kind of really fluid kind of Juve attacking style of play this season, and then against teams perhaps where we are expected to win more, we've got this slightly more attacking version of the tactic. For people wondering the yellow arrows and stuff, I've gotten this kind of new habit of converting my tactics to classic, and then using the sliders to set players' roles rather than just kind of going deep line forward, this. I kind of recommend getting into using this if you can, because it's very useful and it adds a lot more depth to your squad. But anyway, today's game is a big one. Let's see how we get on. Going to be a big game against Crystal Palace away. Is that David Nugent? It is David Nugent. Surprised he's down in this division, really. He was one of those players who was tipped for England glory, and it never really came good for him. Anyway, let's get straight into today's game, people. Let's do this. Just going to tell them no one expects us to get a result. In pre-season, we've got some really good results. I don't know if you maybe caught a glance of them, I can't remember. But we have had some very good pre-season results using this tactic. Obviously, it was against significantly weaker opposition, and wow, they've just scored after 1 minute. But no, as I was saying, like, I've tried out this tactic, and although the three at the back is kind of something that I have got to be wary of, and I may end up changing, I want to kind of experiment. During the pre-season, the three at the back did work for us. I mean, Alexi's there, kind of just caught out of position, a little bit disappointing for him. But I want to try just mixing up the system. I kind of feel like we have 5 very good kind of midfielders, not necessarily the strongest defence, and 2 good strikers. And I want to play to our strengths, and this tactic does do that. And Peltari's here making a bursting run. The Finnish lad, there's an option in the centre. It's a thumb. Kicks off his new season where he finished the last one. Getting that goal, making it 1-1 here. That's a fantastic finish. Peltari really the craftsman there, drawing in the 2 centre backs, and a thumb there with acres of space. First time finish, tidy into the bottom corner, and that's good to see. We've got a chance here. Corner comes in. Glenn Stewart, or was it Evans? I think it was Stewart. It was Stewart. His goal scoring record is so good at this level and for this team, and that's 2 goals in 4 minutes for us, and 13 minutes in, and it's 2-1. Well, this tactic is slightly, it's very attacking in terms of the actual instructions and stuff, so we are going to concede a few. This tactic really revolves, as I've mentioned, on our 7 players in terms of excluding the defence playing well and scoring more than the opposition, and it's good to see that kind of start kicking in. But we've got to watch out for Nugent, and he spreads the ball to Wallace, and Wallace with the tidy finish into the bottom left hand corner. That's his 2nd goal of the game, and that makes it 2-2 after 17 minutes. Wow. Shocking stuff, I suppose. I mean, again, just caught on the back post, and that's Wallace's 2nd goal so far this season after 17 minutes. One quick thing I just want to mention is, guys, do you like kind of the format of having the 3D highlights? I know someone asked about the, could I start doing stuff in 3D? Wow, 3-2, what can I say? But no, someone asked about the 3D highlights and could I start doing them. I always intended to do them on this new PC. A lot of the videos I have been uploading have kind of just been stockpiled over time, so this is kind of one of the first episodes and videos done on my new computer. The reason why I haven't been using the 3D match view is because it can be hard to see the ball, so it's just one of those things. But I'm starting to do highlights, so if you like that kind of format, let me know. But we need to defend this well. I don't want them making it 4-2. There's too many goals. Get the ball out again. Leconte, get the ball. See, we've got quite a lot of men up. Like Barney, if you win that, this is a chance of an attack. I mean, we're playing for the ball through the centre. It's quite slow tactical play I've gone with, like slow methodical attack, and wow. 3-3. Well, I promised you goals with this tactic. And that's certainly the case. That's 3-3 now. 34 minutes in, a thumb with another goal. He's been really good for us this season. Obviously, he came in, and it was kind of a bit like, I brought him in on a free, kind of a spur-of-the-moment signing. He didn't really do anything for the first few months at the club, but then during the live com period, he came absolutely huge for us, and he's been absolutely amazing. Anyway, we've got the second half to contend with against Crystal Palace here. We're in possession of the ball, or rather, they're in possession of the ball, and it's down to us to make an attack work. And wow, Leconte is injured. That is not what I wanted, put it that way. Going to put Doble in, not naturally a left winger, but I'm going to be playing him in the left attack. Well, he wants to play left attacking mid. We're going to stick him at left mid, and hopefully he can do a job for us. So sorry if you just heard creaking and stuff. My roommate, like an absolute ninja, has just come in with a sandwich for me. So shout out to Rob for being a babe. I've got a sandwich now. And a thumb. Can make it a hat-trick, my son. Oh, King with the save. Good save for him. And looking at the stats, we're in control of possessions. That shows that this tactic clearly is doing what I want it to do in terms of bringing a bit of continental flair to League 1 and using the attacking presence our players have. We've got a chance here. Carson, get the ball in, my son. Quidgley's there. Peltari to Reed. Ball into centre. Barney's there. 4-3 FC United Manchester away at Crystal Palace. Fantastic goal. Barney, not really known for having the ability to kind of convert those kind of chances into the box, but that is a really good finish by him on the volley, cracking it into the bottom left-hand corner. Keeper was kind of caught napping there, but this game is looking like maybe these tactics will work for us, you know? King bringing out the ball. Whenever the keepers bring out the ball like that on FM, I'm always convinced I'm going to score from it, because whenever it happens to me, I swear I end up conceding. But no, this tactic's looking like it's working really well for us. I am expecting to concede a lot, but I really want to focus on the attacking threat, because last year we didn't score enough. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, my gosh. Well, 4-4. Not a lot more I can say, really, other than wow. I'm going to take off Shane Barney and bring on Davioson for his debut. And I'm going to bring on Ali Hooper for Quidgley. So we'll try that. That's, of course, all three of our subs used now. And, well, 4-4. I mean, to be fair, Crystal Palace are a very good team in this league. They're kind of another one of those teams who kind of... They're never quite in the Championship and they're never quite in League One. They just kind of seem to bounce between the two. A bit like Peterborough to an extent. But, you know, I would have taken 4-4 away at the start of the day. But that said, I'm still thinking there's another goal in this for one team. Which way it would go, I don't have a clue. 2 minutes left on the clock. Evans, get the ball out. Oh my gosh, they've scored. I've just totally jinxed that. Well, if you were looking for an entertaining episode in terms of goals scored and stuff, I think this was quite a good one to watch. I'm not sure really what Evans is doing there. 5-4. Well, I did say at the start of this episode I was surprised the highest scoring game was 4-3, so that's kind of really weird to see that goal, and that's probably going to be the game now, and indeed it is. Surely, yeah, that's got to be it. Wow. Well, 5-4, guys. I said there was another goal in it, and I kind of wish I hadn't. I don't know, if you've got any comments to make about my kind of 3-5-2 tactics, I'd be interested to know. Looking at the stats, Thumb got a goal. Got 2 goals. Glenn Stewart on the score sheet and Shane Barney getting a goal as well before he was subbed. 2 assists for Billy Reid and 2 assists for Peltari, who got man of the match. Really entertaining stuff. Good to see us scoring goals, however, that defence really needs tightening up. If you've got any comments, as I've already mentioned, leave them down below. Guys, if we could get a few likes on this video, I know you guys are absolutely loving this series. As I've mentioned, if you didn't see the previous episode and you want to see the last 10 games of the previous season, go check that one out as always. And other than that, guys, I'll talk to you in a bit. It's me, Jack, and I'm out.